probably the game of the tournament so far, including Germany and Portugal. A 4-2 win for Joachim Löw's side, which I think, Jules, really announced them in this competition as potential winners. They say never count the Germans out. Is that the feeling now?
Yeah, I mean, we saw two sides of them. The one against France, obviously, where they were very disappointing, had one shot on target, the whole game didn't create anything. And the game against Portugal, where they were fantastic to watch. They had a great game. And the big difference for me in that is how naive tactically Portugal were. This is a team that plays with wing backs. This is where the strength is. Goossens and Kimmich, because if you block those fullbacks, those wing backs, like France did, and you defend very well on the whole width of the pitch, then they struggle. There's not much left for them to do. And Portugal somehow just let both Goossens and Kimmich just run riots for the whole game. And I don't understand how Fernando Santos, being such a defensive-minded coach to start with, and a really good coach as well, having built his own reputation and his own success on defensive ability, how you can go into this game not thinking, do you know what? They will play on those wing backs. Maybe we should either double up or make sure that certainly at the start of the game and maybe the first half, we don't just go crazy forward and let them having a lot of space. But that's all they did. Semedo is a terrible football player anyway in the first place, let alone when he's playing like this. And on the other side, even Guerrero on the other side, on his own, could not deal with Ginter, who was also coming on that right-hand side, Kimmich, plus Havertz or Müller, whoever else was on that right-hand side. And I just think it was so poor tactically from Portugal that's what also made Germany look so good.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, Julien. I think there's an identity crisis going on here with Portugal, because France offered up the blueprint to stop Germany in that first game, like perfectly, and perfectly for how Portugal would probably be the most threatening. And you saw that with the Ronaldo goal. The Ronaldo goal was, scored in 5 or 6 seconds. Ronaldo wins a header, I think, in his own box, goes down the other end. It's a great pass. You use the ability of Jota to get in behind and stretch the play. He, great touchdown, puts in Ronaldo. You got yourself a goal there. The blueprint was there to play that counter-attacking style, because this Germany defense is quite deep, and also because those fullbacks do want to get on, because that's their best chance of creating attacking overload. So for Portugal, Hugh, I wonder if you agree with this, is that in 2016 you had Ronaldo, that was kind of it. Now you've got Bruno Fernandes, who was terrible in this game and has been pretty poor all tournament. You had Bernardo Silva struggling as well. I think he got taken off at half time. But you've got a lot of great names there. It's a really good squad in terms of attacking options. So do you think Santos there's a bit of an identity crisis between, how do we utilize all these players and play a little bit freer, or do we stick with what has won him trophies in the past and be pragmatic?
I just think, look, I don't know necessarily if there's an identity crisis. I think there are so many good players when it comes to Portugal. It's just a case of unleashing them. I think the two holding midfielders, Danilo, William Carvalho, I think that's why they sit there. And I think Fernando Santos maybe lent on the things that France did well in terms of their attack in the first game, and not enough on how much they did well in terms of their defense in the first game against Germany. Because with those two holding midfielders, I think he thought we can get at Germany on the counter-attack. And I think the first goal showed that. I think one of the things was he felt like France had packed the midfield. There was no way of playing through the middle, and there wasn't. There was also no way of playing through them out wide, which is the thing that he, of course, didn't calculate. So I think he left the likes of Diogo Jota and Bernardo Silva and told them to maybe lean on the front foot instead of the defensive back foot. Let's see if we can win the ball, have a quick turnover, transition, go up the other end and attack really, really quickly and get shots off. Try and get in behind that back three that Kylian Mbappe, of course, have done so brilliantly in the first game. You've got to bear in mind, he's not Kylian Mbappe, but he's Cristiano Ronaldo. You could still have such a strong effect on the counter-attack with a player like him. And we saw that with the first goal, but that came as a break from a set piece. It didn't come as a break from them disturbing the play of Germany. And I think that was always an issue for them throughout the game. They never did anything to block the wide channels. Remember that first game, we saw Antoine Griezmann chasing back, even Karim Benzema chasing back, blocking those wide areas. The work rate from the forward players of France was huge. And we just didn't see that same endeavor to get back and help in the fullback areas in particular from the players of Portugal. And the only major concern that I would have is that it was clear probably at 2-1 at half time that it wasn't working and that they needed to do something extra in defense, that Germany had scored far too easily And we're getting forward and getting balls across the 6-yard box far too easily. The big question mark is why Fernando Santos didn't react sooner. I keep saying that's where the managers earn their money. You have to react. You have to react sooner.
He tried because he brought Renato Sanchez on at halftime. The problem I think it is, and that it mixes your 2 points, is that I think you have to choose. If you want to play with a low block and play on the counter and be able to absorb what the opposition will bring to you, no problem. But you can't play Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva, Jota, and Cristiano on the other hand. It has to be one or the other. But if you play with those 4 up front, then you need the ball. If you don't have the ball, and the opposition like Germany have the ball, and you have those 4 up front, I think you're gone. This is finished for you, because Germany they're gonna attack with 5, and you're gonna have waves and waves and everywhere. And so either you go with those 4, but then make sure that you get the ball and you've built your identity with this team like that. But you can't hope to defend well enough against a team like Germany with those 4 up front. It will never work.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.